Or just verifying that it's actually functioning? Anybody? No. Okay.
Bueller. Can you stop making
just,
those noises?
Just wait a second here, guys, and we'll since everything is really messed up, I want to make sure that there's because it doesn't even seem like we're on YouTube. Hey, Andrew, you want to, or whatever horse thing? You want to pull up YouTube on your phone and see if it's working over there? Because mine, I can't seem to find it on the YouTube situation. Oh, Clayton hears us. Do you see us?
Yeah, it looks like you're live now.
Okay,
hey,
cool.
Look, yeah, there we are.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's do... Perfect. All right, Eric's there as well. So it looks like it is now functioning. All right, so my apologies. So thank you, people, for joining. Yeah, Clayton, unfortunately. Yeah. Got some funny people here. All right, so we have Matt and a horse. Does your pet have Matt, does your pet have a name over there?
Andreas.
Okay.
I don't know what female horses
Okay, so
are.
what we're going to do...
This one's a bitch.
It'd be a mare or a... what's a young one? Is a mare a young one? What's the old one?
A filly.
Filly?
I don't know.
Yeah, didn't you ride horses or something at some previous life of yours?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of that.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We got a bunch of messages on the Facebook post from the other night, and now you're sweating, I think.
I know, it's hot in there.
All right, so we're gonna do until somebody has any question. Dumpster fire in effect. So Chris, yes, it was a total dumpster fire trying to get this thing going, because initially we started live, clicked live, it showed we were live, and then we went to YouTube and it wasn't live. So that was a problem, and we're trying not to have that be a thing. But all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. We had 20 messages over.
You wouldn't move your hand.
Okay.
Eric, it was a long time. What is that noise?
What is that noise?
I don't know. It's the internet getting full.
It is totally full. Okay, so how do you guys want to tackle this? You want to just start with a couple of questions and then see what the chatter is, and then we can go from there?
Yeah.
I say we do rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I'm going to keep posting this in other places.
Okay, cool. All right. Matt, you want to tackle this? You commented back to Joe Diamond over on Facebook. He said he's currently looking at changing his pedals. He's currently running Shimano M530s. While they are okay, I want something with more of a platform similar to flats. Looking at nuke-proof Horizon trail pedals, but wondering if you have suggestions. I tried the Crank Brothers, the mallets, and liked the platform, but hated the clipless system. So you mentioned the XT Trail. Can you want to elaborate and talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, so the big thing to realize or understand with pedals is any pedal that is a clipless pedal in the middle and then has a lot around the outside, it's not going to do anything. It can't. And the reason is if you look at all clipless mountain bike shoes, the sole is like whoop, and it goes up past the cleat because the sole's very stiff, so it doesn't bend. And because the sole doesn't bend, that sole that starts like, Jesus, I'm trying to figure out how to hold my hand. So if a sole starts like this and it's stiff, it's not going to flex like this and grip on the pedal. If the sole is stiff and the toe is pointed up so you can like roll towards your toe to walk in it, you're not going to get the shoe to like flex downward and grip the front portion of the pedal. So all those pedals that have pins in front of the clipless system, I guess that's only for when you're unclipped.
Or for like 510 shoe type. Like the 510 shoes that have a cleat in them aren't very, I mean, relatively speaking, aren't very stiff. So they might touch those things. Maybe. I don't know.
If your shoe bends that much, get better shoes. Seriously, like the XT pedal has more stuff. Ooh, the light's shining. Look at that. They're uprising. If so you have a clipless portion here on the sides of that, you need it to contact the shoe, and when that contacts the shoe, that is what helps the shoe not have really crazy float, and it also helps you not have toggle, which would be where your foot can rock side to side. And when you can eliminate those two things, you have a little bit more like sole contact to help with float, and you don't have toggle. It's going to feel very supportive under your foot.
So on the Shimano style pedals, on the trail pedal, if you were to cut the outer wing parts off and then compare it to the race pedal, you'll notice that there is still more contact area on the trail pedal that actually touches your foot. So like those outer wing parts don't, like Matt said, like if you have a good stiff cycling shoe on, those outer wing parts aren't really going to make that much of a difference. I like the trail pedals because there is more foot contact, but the foot contact is right by the cleat. It's not on those outer wing parts out here. It's like the part right around your cleat. It is made and machined differently, and the race pedal is machined to be as light as possible with some contact, and the trail pedal is less of a compromise as far as the contact with your foot.
And for the person saying that the cage around the Shimano pedals allow you to get a bit more purchase when you can't get clipped in, I think that area right around the clipping portion is doing much more than those leading and trailing wings are. And I would encourage you to put your shoe in your hand and go and like put it on your pedal and see what actually touches.
I guess it could. I mean, I think Eric has a couple of pretty good points, but yeah. I mean, I wouldn't try to make a flat pedal out of a clipless pedal, and I wouldn't want a clipless pedal that's really trying to be a flat pedal. Unless you're talking about the one that is an SPD on one side and a flat pedal on the other. Some people like those. Yeah. But they're not great at either one of those things though, because if you want to be clipped in, it's harder to get clipped in because you got a 50-50 chance, really like less than a 50-50 chance, because of the way the pedal's weighted, it's always going to want to be on one side or the other. So it's harder to get clipped in if you're using them clipless. And then it's harder to ride them as a flat pedal because they're a shitty flat pedal. It's like a cheese grater flat pedal. Like it's not good. So
when I first started riding, I don't even know what year it was, 2005, 4, somewhere around there. I bought a pair of those flip over. It was like what's it, really cheap brand. It was at Performance.
Oh no.
They cost
Forte?
like $12. No, what was it?
Forte?
It might have been Forte ones, but they were flip overs like that. And yeah, it's impossible because it like burn, and then you try to clip in, it just flips over. Yeah, they were like $12. Okay, so here's one. Mike Jones. I have Shimano 90/20 series XTR trails on my 2016 Pivot 429 trail. I cup bleed them all the time, but the MFers won't hold a bleed and are wet near the lever pivot area. Should I try to repair, keep bleeding, or throw them at my neighbor and buy new 8000 series XT dual piston trails? Stand brakes sucks when blasting down and hoping the brakes work when you need them. So I'm not sure if he meant actually throwing that, like literally throwing them at his neighbor, or just giving them to his neighbor.
I mean, I think
not sure what's more dangerous.
If you're bleeding them and you clean them off all the way, like make sure they're all the way dry when you're finished, you don't leave any residue. You can clean, like jam a Q-tip in there and kind of clean out around where the lever actually goes into the master cylinder, or it has a plunger. Clean out around there really well. and then ride it. And when it starts to feel soft again, look there and see if it looks like oil came out. Because if oil came out, they will warranty that as long as you're the first, owner, and it's a year, I think. Yeah, 2 years.
XCR gets 2 years.
Yeah, and I mean Shimano knows that their shit leaks like that, so they'll warranty it.
So there's a supply company named Zepp, and they make a product called ID Red. And ID Red is essentially a brake cleaner that doesn't have any residue left over. Brake cleaner kind of needs to get hot afterwards. So brake cleaner for bicycles or for cars isn't really good for bikes. But if you spray ID Red into that lever junction, like here's your grip, the brake lever is like in front of you, like spray it like that way, like into the spot that's all wet, it'll burn all that stuff out. And Andrea is right. If it keeps leaking, which it will, then they need to be warranted, or you should have them evaluated for warranty. And the XT version, the shittier version of the same shitty brake, isn't going to be any better. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. Like, you don't come here for hugs and unicorns. You come here for brutal honesty. And 2 things I don't like about Shimano brakes. 3 things. 1, they're cheaper on the internet than they are for the bike shop. 2, they are, and they might have fixed that. I'm kind of talking shit.
Working on the higher end, the very most recent stuff that's been out, they said they're not going to let that happen. But for older stuff, all bets are off.
Yeah, I guess a different way to put it is they let's ignore that one. So 2 reasons. 1, they use the same lever though. An 8000 series brake and an 8020 brake use the same lever, and because they use the same lever, the brake is always going to feel kind of soft. There's no other way to put it. It's a 2-piston caliper or lever running a 4-piston caliper. It's never going to feel great. And I've talked to some people at SRAM and some SRAM athletes. They used to run XX levers on Code brakes because they loved the way that it felt, but they didn't have a lot of like life. You know, the between bleeds was very short. Between brake pad changes was very short because you would run out of juice before you ran out of pad or ran out of brake. And the same goes the other way. If you put like a Code lever on an Elixir caliper, or, you know, in today's stuff, like a level TLM caliper, you could eat into the piston and the brake would still feel great. Like, you would be moving so much fluid and the overall feel of the brake would be amazing. It'd just be like, ka-da, 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 ka-da. But it just wouldn't like work.
It wouldn't stop working when you ran out of pad.
Exactly. Yeah. So, my answer is a nice pair of SRAM G2s. Seriously, they're good brakes.
Cool. All right. The next one here is, and it relates to something I'll be posting later on the.
Wait, I got one more thing for the brake guy.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Also check the torque of your compression fitting where the hose goes into the master cylinder. That should be on a Shimano brake 6 Newton meters. On a SRAM brake, it is 8 Newton meters. That's why it's more common for people to fuck that up on a SRAM brake, because they're less likely to just get it because they're not using a torque wrench.
Okay, cool. So here's a Chris Sheehan. He commented. He said something. I already got. Oh, he might be throwing some money. He said he's been listening since Blog Talk Radio days. Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio.
With like prank phone calls and shit.
Oh, remember that Nazi one?
Kind of.
Remember that? He like came on and started yelling about Nazis and stuff. It was really, you can only shut it down so quickly. It was really, yeah.
Shut it down.
Yeah. Okay, so on Facebook from the other night, Nick Undis. Intervals, hill repeats, or just ride? So, and I bring this up because I was going to say that Andrea, somebody posting something on the podcast feed that Andrea recorded. I think she wrote the other day, and I'm not sure if any of you saw it, but she wrote it on Medium, and she recorded a really awesome audio version of that. So watch about that, but it kind of plays into this. So what do you guys think? Intervals, hill repeats, or just ride? What would you say to that question?
All of them.
Yeah,
That's
I
such
mean,
a cop-out answer, but it's true.
I'm gonna give you a worse
No,
answer.
I would say that too because you have to keep it fresh. Like,
Sorry.
I mean, but hill repeats
what
are just
flavor is
fancy.
it?
It's a titanium straw.
That one's not titanium.
No, the flavor of the drink. What is it? What do you drink?
Oh, mango bubbly.
Oh, yeah, it's good. They have this. Did you see the AHA yet? This stuff?
I haven't had that one yet.
I think that's some up north shit.
No, that's the one they just.
No, it's not.
Shh, it's up
Yep,
north.
it's new. It's good. And this
Okay.
flavor is really good, by the way. This apple ginger.
Ooh, I like ginger.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So intervals, hill repeats, or just ride. I mean, hill repeats are just fancy intervals. So, like, if you're riding up a hill, you are doing an interval up that hill.
I mean, if you're riding up with any purpose, you can definitely ride up a hill at an intensity that would not.
Then it's not a hill repeat. Then it's just going up the hill. Like,
I mean, some people say that's what a hill repeat is. It's just doing a hill more than once, no matter how easy you do it.
that's not real life for this. I mean, it depends on your goals, your plans, your aspirations. Do you actually want to be fast? Are you going to put in the time? Are you going to put in the effort? Are you going to do things? I can't answer those questions for you. I can't repair your relationship with your ex. I can't do any of that for you.
Where did some of this shit come from? I don't know.
For
Oh.
me,
I don't know. It sounds like he's disappointed someone and he's looking for validation. There are no rules anymore.
Oh. Okay. So can I say something regarding that? Is what's the point? Like you alluded to, Matt. What's the point? Are you trying to get in shape, or are you just trying to go out and like have a little fun? Because you can get in shape, because you can have a goal of getting in shape and having fun without a goal of racing too. So if your goal is to get in shape and not necessarily race, like go out and do some hills, do something different. Like just getting on a flat, doing I think what he's getting at is intervals. You think of more of going out on a stretch of road and doing it at a certain amount of watts or something like that. Whereas hill repeats it's pretty variable because every hill is a little bit different. Even if you pick one hill, you might be doing it on grass or on a trail. So there's a little bit of obstacle stuff going on there. Or are we just doing this on a hill on a road? Does it have snow on the road that you're going up?
you beat me to it.
Yeah. But my point is it's not all about racing all the time. And I get that. And if your goal is just to get in shape, to get in really good shape so you can go have a little bit more fun, just do a little bit of everything. It's just to keep the variety. Whatever keeps you out there going, if it means doing 2 hills, do it. If it means skipping stupid intervals, that's your mindset is you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do the stupid intervals, don't do it. Like whatever keeps you going out there more, or to get in shape a little bit more, whatever it is, then fine. If you don't give a shit about how in shape you are, don't waste your time. Go work on some skills. That's my
Build a
take on
manual machine.
So with that,
record yourself practicing every day. It's track stands every day. The track stand challenge. Okay, go.
I'm just not sure where to even go with that.
Track stand challenge.
Manual machines.
Oh, that, yeah. Taco machines. Okay, go.
Bigger,
How much would you have to lean over in one of those manual machines for a carbon rim to break? Could you break a carbon
thermoplastic?
No, could you break one of those? Well, Santa Cruz says you can't break them, right? So how much would it take to bend one over in those? Can you lean it like 45 degrees, or do you have to go a little bit further before that manual machine? Does the wood break first?
No, because I've built mine out of steel and I've bolted it to the ground.
Okay.
And then I also, on my lathe, I CNC machined an aluminum rear wheel. That way, I don't have to wear out. Like, I don't want to wear the side knobs on my
Oh my
tires
God.
in my manual machine.
Oh, jeez. All right. Okay, you want to do another one?
Can we tell people what Matt and I got this morning?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see on the.
Hold on.
Oh, you can't see where shit.
Is that goose?
We got baby chickens. We got
Oh,
some chicks.
weren't you didn't find a goose yet?
I couldn't find a goose. I haven't been
Okay.
able to find one locally, so I wasn't gonna. I looked at how to order one on the internet. If
Mhm.
you want to order, well, first you have to get 3 if you order them on the internet, and the shipping's $120.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that, but I did find a place that does a homestead package where you can, for $200, you get like all of the birds. You get like several turkeys, you get geese, you get ducks, you get like 20 chickens, like
Is,
you get all of
this-
it.
is this like one of those monthly boxes? Can you sign up for like the homestead subscription?
Yeah, I think you get all those fuckers at once.
No, but then the next
Oh,
month,
shoot.
like what
Yeah,
you would
then
do
they
is you
set
would
you
get,
up with like flowers or
like-
something.
that's what I was gonna say. You would get like livestock at one, or like poultry at one point, and then you would get livestock at another point, and then you would get seedlings to plant for like eating, and you would get seedlings to plant for like decoration, and then you would get like a little like grinding wheel, and then you would be able to like grind your own grains with it.
Like
And then the next
cornmeal.
month you would get like really terrible rot gut whiskey. That way you could feel like a settler. And then the next month you would get a shovel so you could bury whichever one of your family members you killed with botulism by canning stuff poorly.
So,
Oh no,
okay,
it wouldn't be a shovel. You'd already have a shovel from gardening. It would be a tombstone kit. That's what it would
Yeah.
be.
right. It's like the old settlers kit.
Yeah, like that would be. Wait, Ben, take this offline. This is what we're doing. Kill the recording. Kill it. Kill it. This is how we're getting rich.
It sounds like a very promising business model. How many chicks did you get? Back to the
5.
chicks. 5. What kind are they? Are they all different kinds, or what kind of breeds?
3 are buff Orpingtons, and then
Okay.
2 of them were just labeled as hybrid layers. And they're kind of like spotty. They're like calico colored.
They're really cute. They're my favorite.
One of them is really loud. Like it's the smallest one of all 5. And if you hold it like here, like close to you, it actually kind of hurts your ears. It's so loud.
I like
Are
that
they
one.
are they like new puppies where they're not used to their surroundings, so they just cheep, 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 cheep,
Yeah.
or they get used to it? Or
Oh, it
how's
was
that
so
work?
great. Like I opened the little box they were in because Andrea went to the store and I stayed home and like set up their little living area. And we opened the little box they're in. They're like me, 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 me. And then I like put them under the like Andrea went to get some stuff and I like held the heat lamp over them and they went for like me, me. So like meep, 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 meep. Like they kept making noises, but it was a different noise. Like they went from being like I'm cold to like oh
Yeah, once they figured out the water and the food, like they've just been basically they sleep and then they wake up and they eat or drink and then they just sleep again.
I have imagine it's the chicken version of and then the monsters went over the hill and then the trees blew in the wind and then the monsters were sad. They're like little kids. They're just like making noise.
Yeah.
Ben got it.
Well, I was trying to figure out where you're going with this, and yeah,
That's life with children. You're trying to figure out where they're going with their story.
yeah, it's like you right now. Okay, I know you're gonna play. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's do another question here. Did you have any on Instagram from the other day? Did you answer those on the recording?
We answered them on the recording.
Okay.
We could do Ken Graham, even though I don't think he's listening right now.
No, he's not. I have 2. One bike related. Clayton has a question. One work related.
Okay, go. Clayton, go. Clayton, go. Faster. Stop eating Sour Patch Kids and type.
He's been a listener for a long time. I know that. I will say, can I drink at work now? Oh, Jeff, yeah, good. This is a fantastic question.
You should
Crest-
only recreate from your front door.
Is the crest open right now?
Monarch Pass is technically open, but Gunnison County, which is the next county once you go over Monarch Pass, is closed to tourists basically.
There's no basically to it.
It is like, well, you can't because of all of the ski traffic through Crested Butte as the virus was ramping up. They don't serve tourists there right now, so they're trying to keep people from bringing stuff in. They're actually the light up signs on the interstate say no tourist Gunnison County. So, I mean, you can go over it and drive through, but that's it.
Oh, I took it as he was actually asking about Monarch Crest. That's why I said,
No.
"Oh, that's a very good question. Is it open yet?"
It never closes. It might be covered in
Oh,
snow,
sorry.
but it's never closed.
Sorry, better question. Is it rideable yet?
On a timber sled.
How much snow is up there? You think depth-wise?
They use like a machine to cut a wall of snow out part of the way, like in the very beginning of the trail that goes up to the Continental Divide. And I think it's normally more than like 6 or 7 feet tall. Like the section they cut out.
Hmm.
Cactus Jack, I agree with you, and it's some roadie shit because so he asked, why did they create flat mount brakes?
Mhm.
And I can tell you why. It's because the rich dudes who got the first disc brake road bikes, they paid $10,000. And then the mechanics hung their bike on the scale, and the scale said 17 pounds. And they didn't like that. So that's why they invented flat mount brakes. Because you don't need quite as much brake on a road bike as you do on a mountain bike. So they just made a tiny little road-sized brake that would make their bike 16.5 pounds instead of 17.
For someone that loves every other technological innovation that's ever been made, I feel like when I hear you talk about flat mount, I expect to see you riding a non-suspension corrected Surly 1x1 with shorty ultimates and like a White Industries crank and a fucking freewheel on it. You realize that. You sound that fucking terrible.
Don't get me started on tooled through axles.
They're amazing. Fuck. God damn. I hate a through axle with a fucking lever on it. You know why it sucks? Look, I'll tell you why. Tooled through axles are trash, and anybody that likes them, I don't have anything for you.
Exactly, that's what I've been saying.
Tooled trash.
Yeah. Tooled, like the ones you put a tool into.
No, there would be a tooled and a tool-free. Tooled is trash. It sticks out too far. I hit my foot on it. My fucking foot hits my through axle. Oh, mama. Well, I have a big-ass foot, and we want short-ass chainstays. You got to take it out. You know, the other thing that happens is you smash it into rocks. You know how long the tooled through axle lasted on my Trek? It lasted like 2 weeks, and then the RWS ratcheting part, it didn't ratchet anymore. You couldn't readjust the lever because I'd fucking bashed it into rocks, and it was fucking worthless then. I hate those things. And no one knows how to use them. No one knows where to put the lever. No one knows how to reclock them. There's instructions everywhere. No one can figure it out. So, to Clayton's questions, because he's a nice guy, can I drink at work now?
Are you working for? I mean, you've always been able to drink at work. I mean, I'm answering like, can you? Yes. Should you?
I don't think you should.
But remember, there are no rules anymore.
And then his next question was, I want to get into some bike pack racing, and I'm thinking about a hardtail would be the best. I want to do races like Stagecoach. What would you recommend for frames, groups, and forks? New Sid 35 would be the right fork. I've met Clayton. He's a large fellow. He's tall, and he is. I mean, he's not like big, but he's not like scrawny. He's probably 175 pounds, I think, maybe. I think that new Sid 35 would be really good, and I think you should put it on a hardtail with a big front triangle.
I mean, if he's a tall person, his front triangle is going to be large anyway. I would say if you want a bike that's going to be kind of, you can do other stuff with it besides bike packing. There are like kind of the hot thing right now is to make a full suspension, like a cross country light duty trail bike that holds 2 water bottles. And those have a big enough front triangle that you probably have to go custom, but they have a big enough front triangle that you could fit a reasonably sized frame bag in there. So if you're looking for something that's going to do more than just be a hardtail gravel bike packing kind of bike, that's what I'd go for. Like the Trek Super Caliber looks like it would be amazing for bike packing. Yeah, I'd do that. Like the Rocky Mountain Element with, it holds anything that holds 2 water bottles. The shock has been put in the bike in a way that just maximizes the room in the front triangle. So, that's something to keep in mind as well if you have the budget for that.
And then for group, I'd run GX with an XL1 shifter.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Eric. Where was it? Eric Dalmas asked, "Oh, what's the best way to make interesting trails around my totally flat property?" And then I asked him how many acres. He said 2. So this is what I would say, just with my experience so far, is the question would be, do you have rocks at your disposal? How sandy or rocky is the soil? Do you have trees? Do you have how detailed do you want to get with structures? Because rocks or trees are the
Ben just froze.
Technology is not our friend today. Come back, Ben. No.
big one, because with 2 acres you can wind. What I've realized with our property is, if you're okay, it's one thing to have it on your land and have it winding in and out and just seeing the trail right there. It's a different to go to a trail system and have that. You're more willing to be accepting of it being on your own property, because that's right out the door and you can just wind around and do it many times and keep it fun. So don't be afraid to just wind it around as much as you can through a bunch of trees. No rocks, very well draining, and not very many trees. I don't know. Get a lawnmower, cut a path, and hope for the best.
Get an 80 or 110 dirt bike, and then what you could actually do is you could burn in like small little berms just by riding them, and then on the bicycle, it would be really hard to try to replicate that. And then you would own a dirt bike. Woo!
So what I would say is just get something to dig with. If you have a skid steer or something, and just start building little berms and little rollers and stuff. I don't know. Our neighbor's got one he goes all over the place. Gotta know somebody has something. I don't know. If he has 2 acres, I'm assuming he's around where he's got something. But yeah, that's what I would say, is start digging.
And I would say don't be afraid of wood, like a couple of little wooden things to play around on. That would be really really interesting, and it would be really good, because you would, and I wouldn't build anything to the ground. I would make it all like movable, because as you do more, then you would be like, oh, I want to move this here, or oh, I don't want to move that there. And don't build jumps and stuff. Build like rollers, or build like a little wooden like catch berm that you could stake in the ground, and then just go nuts. Go to Home Depot. There's tons of ramp plans online. They work really well. So I built a ramp this week. So ramps are good.
And that's what I did with my kids. Is I have a few little things that I can just move around the driveway. So they have a teeter totter. They like the teeter totter the most, but then there's a couple small little ramps, and I can just adjust. I can put one in front of the other. Then the next day I can do something different. So yeah, the portable features are good for kids. So,
and we're all
keeps
we're all
it
kids.
Interesting.
So just some of us are old enough to like drive cars and drink beer.
Yes.
And box whiskey.
Yes.
So we had a question from George Dirt. He's Joe's brother.
Yes.
What fork has higher quality internals, plastic, aluminum, etc., Fox or RockShox?
I'd say it depends. It depends on the like the model fork you get in either of the brands. So if you get the higher end stuff, you're going to get the parts with more technology and that are just a little nicer. Like if you get any RockShox fork that has a motion control damper literally looks like a little plastic tube of lattice with the like compression adjuster at the bottom of it that allows oil to flow through at a different rate. Whereas if you get a RockShox fork that has a charger damper in it, it's actually got like a bladder that expands as the fork moves through the travel, and it's just a much more like dynamic kind of system that works as you're riding. And that the same goes for Fox. Like you get the nicer stuff, you get a nicer damper. So just get nicer stuff in whichever brand you like.
Breaking at 12:30. Nicer stuff is nice.
Okay. Ban all tree gates, Ron. I'm not sure. Tree gates. I don't know. He likes wood. Wood is
well. The more tree gates you cut down, the more wood. See, that's what you need to do. You need to cut your own trees, take them to the sawmill, machine, like have your own lumber made, and then bring the lumber home and build features out of that. That's how you make a simple like 2-weekend project into a 2-year project that never satisfies you and goes quadruple the budget every month.
We do have people, several people around here that will do mobile milling for you too. So not only
because you're up north,
not only could get your neighbor's skid steer, you can get your wood milled for you too.
Your mobile miller.
Yeah.
That sounds like a size of Miller Lite. The mobile miller. Is it like a 10-ounce can?
That's the bag. That's the boxed miller.
I want that.
George says thanks. So thanks, George, for following along and coming back. Chainsaw sawmill. Yeah, Eric, if you have any recommendations on that, I've checked out a few. That's something I'd like to have in the future, but I need a more powerful chainsaw as well. So I have an in on that.
The $80 pull-in isn't going to pull it.
Dude, that thing, I haven't used it. Did I tell you that? Or was I talking to somebody else? I haven't used it since October probably, and I pulled it out the other day. Or was it yesterday? I don't know at this point. And third pull, it was going. Thing just cranks.
My chainsaw's not so happy.
No.
Yeah, yours wasn't happy when you put it away.
It's usually fuel.
Yeah, my dad gave me a chainsaw also. Like Matt bought one, and then 2 months later, my dad gave me an old one of his. And he's like, it needs a new something. Like it needs this done. And I forgot what that was. And he's so old, I don't think he's going to remember if I ask him. And if he does remember, he's going to be like, you mean you haven't fixed that chainsaw yet?
Yeah, exactly. So
so
my lot used to be a cornfield. Yeah, Eric, I don't know.
Plant an orchard so you can grow your own fruit and stuff. Fruit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We should say he'll be our first customer.
Totally maintenance free. Like you don't have to do anything to them at all. Like spray them 12 times a year to keep bugs off of them and fungus and everything.
And the birds will definitely not eat all your fruit like 6 hours before you want to pull it off the tree.
And then anything that falls immediately, the deer won't eat that either.
Oh no, deer don't like fruit.
No, they hate fruit trees, and they definitely don't eat the lower branches.
No, that would be rude. And deer are very kind creatures.
Yes, they're not rats with hooves.
You just, you just have to be like Ben and just shoot the deer that come in your yard.
Some of them are open game. It's the way it goes during season,
That's
of course. But
I really want to do that. I want to archery hunt in my yard, and I don't think that it's illegal with the right tag.
no,
You just have
it's
to get a
absolutely
private
it's
land tag. But the problem is here, like we do have, even though it's 2 acres, we do have neighbors on all sides.
that's the
So
only
like a
thing.
deer could run into someone's yard and like just
Mhm.
die on their front porch or something. So I
Yeah.
don't really want to do that to my neighbors.
No, and that was the thing here is our previous place was 6 acres, and we kind of had neighbors around would have 5 to 10 acre lots, but you could see a house up there and a house. So that first fall, I didn't hunt our woods, but then after talking to our neighbors and getting to know them, especially one of them that lives right behind us, kind of, I was talking to him, and he's like, "My daughter shot her first deer right down by your house." And he's like, "All right, sounds good." He's like, "If it falls in our yard, then all I'm going to do is ask you to give me a little bit." And I said, "Sounds good to me." So, yeah, it's definitely a concern. And there are rules too. And I don't know what Colorado is, but I think Wisconsin, you can't shoot anything you can't shoot a firearm or a bow, whatever projectile within like 100 yards of a private residence unless you have permission. That's the rule. Because
I'm pretty sure I could get permission from all of our neighbors, but I don't really want a deer to run off and die on someone's property.
I know, and that's always my concern too. And the here it's a little bit different. Everyone kind of does the same thing, I think. And when I first brought it up to some people I was talking to, I think it might have been some family or whatever, but there was this like, "Oh my God, you can't do that. You can't shoot." It's like, actually you can. It's pretty common. It's just, yeah, it's more of a moral, being a nice neighbor kind of thing than it is regulations. So it becomes a lot easier when you have 5 to 10 acres and you have a little bit of space, but whatever.
Right. Or like my dad's 10 acres, one side of the property backs up to, I don't know,
Woods.
200 acres of soy and cornfield. So like,
yeah,
the deer just like go through his property on the way to there, and he's just like, and then when they die over there, he just walks out there and drags them home. Like no one cares.
Right. And we went down the hunting hole, and we have probably like 100 anti-hunters listening to us right now.
Card, and if I don't, I think I have until the 4th to apply for a tag. So I'm glad we got into that because I've got to go out in one of our outbuildings and look for it.
Wait, your what card?
Hunter safety.
Oh, that's not already in the system?
You have to you have to put the number in when you apply for the tag. And I guess it's not in the system because it didn't pop up, and I'm like logged in and everything to CPW. And then you have to carry it with you when you hunt. So if I've lost it again, it's just going to be a pain in the ass because it was a pain in the ass last time when people weren't hiding from a virus.
Gotcha. All right. Any thoughts on demise right out the kitchen window den there? Yeah, that's porches, windows. I was watching a hunting show the other day, and what they did is they were hunting on, I don't know, it was a couple 100 acres of private property. It was in fields and stuff, and there's this old, like, beat down, it might have been a house at some point, but they just used it as like an old house or an old horse barn, and they hadn't used it for a couple years. And the guys just used that as a blind because it was out in the middle of nowhere. It's just an old decrepit shed and on some private land, and they just used that as their blind. So yeah, right out the window. Ron, any thoughts on demise of Dirt Rag magazine? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear the future of print relying on ads, print ads especially, and the money that comes in from just doing certain reviews. I mean, that lifespan, that's a fact. I mean, I know for a fact, without naming names and discussions, that like people within different organizations are told not to do certain work with certain companies because they're cut a deal with another one of the companies. And I won't say anything about Dirt Rag or anything any other than that, but like when that's a thing, that's not sustainable. And when you have an event promoter telling you flat out that they're not going to do print advertising anymore. I mean, it becomes pretty clear that it's hard to run a magazine if you're not going to get print advertising from companies that have some money they want to spend. I mean, it's hard enough getting it on internet, right? We have to essentially beg for money. And it's hard enough to get, because companies, what they want to do now, especially now after this situation, they want to partner up and do some deal like that. And it's like, you can't be sustainable when you're trying to partner up for the good of, like, money needs to flow. And if it doesn't, it's done. In Dirt Rag, I mean, that's the print ad situation wasn't getting any better. So, and that review for money thing, man, is just, it's not sustainable. It just doesn't work.
No.
Nikki's here.
So the only reason, I mean, I can like speak for us, like we get donations from people, but like Mountain Bike Radio, I think if we exclude when I worked for Ben that summer, like we take that out of the equation, like no, if you ran like the dollars per hour that we've spent on Mountain Bike Radio, I think most people would like go in their closet and cry.
Yeah, and actually that's something going forward. I'm gonna start, I hate to call it begging, but it's begging. I'm gonna start saying I'm just gonna start asking for money and just say, if we don't have income, that is just gonna go away. Because really, that's what it comes down to. I mean, if we don't have, and I don't know if the right way to do it is like, hey, okay, now become a Patreon member, and then you can watch Just Riding Along. That's stupid. Like, I want it available for people, but if they don't really value it, then what's the point of doing it?
Well, I
like,
think
why
the
should
one
we,
that,
like, you know what I mean? So that's the question. I'm not saying it's going away. I'm just saying that's the question that needs to be had. Like, do you really want it? That's a question everyone should be asking themselves right now. Like, do you really want something?
yeah, and the thing that gets me is like when I get like some Instagram
And
message.
by the way, I'm cutting you off, but by the way, I want to say thank you to oh shoot, was it Eric or Chris? Oh shoot, I think it might have been Eric. Kick some money. I just saw the email come through, so thank you, whoever that was. Chris Sheehan. So thank you. $25. You're awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
So, you know, like it's really tough when this isn't something that from like this is a passion project, I think is the right way to put it. You know, like it's a labor of love. It's not a source of, you know, like meaningful income. That kind of sucks to say out loud, but I mean, we've done this for like 8 years almost, so it's not like we're doing it for the money. We're doing it because it's a fun thing. But then you get an email where it's like, oh, the shows are posting like a month after you recorded them. That's really fucking boring. And it's like, fuck you, you know, like, well, that. And then I think it's really interesting if you go to YouTube and you watch any of your, let's call it like normal YouTubers. So I'm going to say things like a great one would be like Hoonigan. You know, they are a media company that makes their money by making YouTube videos. They've put up like 900 episodes and it's all for free online forever. And they sell a bunch of merchandise and they throw these gnarly events and like they're making their money that way. They have a bunch of people on staff and it's rad. And you watch their stuff and you see that there was like a 2 to 3 week time period and they're in California. So there was like this 2 to 3 week time period where all their videos were like, oh, this is before, like they had to have a disclaimer because every like guests were coming and they were high-fiving and hugging, you know, like they had to disclaim that this was all recorded but not yet published based on social distancing. And, you know, you can even look at other podcasts and huge ones, stuff you should know. They've done, I mean, it was a year and a half ago that they had done 1,000 episodes somewhere along there. You should listen to it. They have a two-parter. Episode 999 and 1,000 are all about the Simpsons, and it's really funny. But like you should go back and listen to that and or listen to their shows, and you'll see like their recording schedule is way crazy too. Like they're talking about, oh, we're recording this, but you'll hear it, they're like Happy Thanksgiving, and it's like, oh, it's really weird to
Right.
say Happy Thanksgiving in October, or that's probably a little off, but not really.
Yeah. I have number 6 just right along number 6. I'll be going on in probably a couple days, and that'll be fairly up to date. I mean, that's after right now, like podcast wise, it's like pre-coronavirus shutdown and post-coronavirus shutdown, right? Because it feels kind of weird that when you listen and you hear people like, oh yeah, it's all doing this and it's cool and all this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that was not now. So
It's a cosmic reset.
yeah. I'm just writing this down. 99, 999, 1,000. You said?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go check that out. I don't know how we went down that rabbit hole. Dirt rig. Oh yeah, dirt rig. Dead like single speed and 26 and also 27.5.
And white frame glasses. So, Dickie, just remember that if I ever go to a race and you're there and I run into you in the grocery store and you can't reach something off the top shelf, I'm not getting it for you.
The only thing I would ask him is, what is this similar? Is coronavirus similar to living through the 1918 flu epidemic? Rich, what was it? What was that like? They're about that age range, right?
That's when Single Speed was alive, and so was Dickie, because he's a million years old.
And none of his dogs have eyes.
And he always plucks the eyes out of his dog.
Why?
No, he doesn't. It's just his wife works with the
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
shelter, and they always end up like fostering the worst case dogs, and the worst case dogs don't have eyes or they can't walk and stuff. And then Dickie falls down a flight of stairs when a dog has diarrhea and breaks his pinky toe. Like,
Oh my god.
I mean, that was right around the time I sprained my shoulder carrying my dog down the stairs, or
the ramp.
the elderly dog down the ramp.
Damn, Dickie says same, but young people dress better. So
There's a pretty bird outside.
George comments, "You folks rock." Also, some magazines seem like a cover-to-cover ad with a frowny face, and that's a really hard. But the really hard, like, how do I word this properly? The tough part is how do you find that balance, right? Like Ben's talking about, like we need to not partner, but we need advertising, right? Like it'd be rad to be like, and this episode is brought to you by Bubbly. Pretty plain water. No one's going to be mad if we say it's good, right?
I wonder if we could get Black Box
Aha! I have an idea.
or Boda Box or Black Box whiskey.
If Black Box sponsored us in kind, I would come out of this isolation period a raging alcoholic. However,
Yeah,
I mean, that's going to happen anyway.
it is, but when he says like things seem like cover to cover advertisement, there's like a really fine line there, right? And one of the things that I'm not struggling with, but having to bite my tongue on now, or like I know a lot of things. Since I started my new job, I know lots and lots of things. I know things that I can't even hint to, but I know so many things. So what I'm finding myself doing is it's really weird for the first time in the history of having this, like, because we get bitched at by someone and I'd be like, I just can't talk about this at all anymore. Or I just can't mention this brand of bike that rubs all the paint off the chainstays anymore. Like, whatever, I get that. But now I'm in a thing where it's like, people are saying, like, I can't be a part of a speculation of the future episode because I know the future and it's rad. It's fucking rad, but I can't talk about it and I can't speculate it because anything that I speculate, I've signed away that I won't talk about it. So even if it's things that I wanted, and sometimes like someone tells me, like I might ask about something and then I get told like, yeah, that's coming. Or I like think about things and then like I read somewhere that it's a thing and I'm like, of course it is. I wondered what took so long, like, and not trying to be a jerk about it, but like just literally I see something come out sometimes and I'm like, or I read that, this date in the future it's going to come out, and I'm like, yeah, good. We need that. Like, I think I could sell that. That's good. Cool.
Right.
So it's, I don't want to say tough. It's really easy, but it's really tough in the sense of like, I can't like join that discussion anymore. And where I'm going down this long rambling thing is, if we do have advertising, like, I can't say bubbly water's stupid, because every time you drink 12 ounces of weird water that gives you the burps, you have to throw away a can. If I'm going to throw away a can, I'm going to drink a Coors. Like, that's just not something like really appropriate to say if we have a partner like that. So, it's just tough.
Sponsoring's hard, but when I have the Zevia,
They have the Diaz brothers advertising for them on Instagram.
the Diaz brothers, Zevia.
Yeah.
This episode brought to you by Big Soup. Soup. It's what you should be making right now.
Hang on, let me check my phone that's in my OtterBox for messages. Yes, Cactus Jack, stay positive, guys. You're doing a great service for the mountain bike community. I look forward to hearing from you each week. I can't speak for everyone, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, awesome. We totally appreciate you checking it out and listening. And we know that a lot of people really do appreciate it, because we do get a lot of messages and a lot of like, hey, good job, thanks. Every time we're out doing something, we always get that. John Butler, thoughts of Dirt Fest type event in Hayward? Yeah, that idea has been kicked around several times. There was some discussion about the outer bike crowd doing something that ended up going to, I think, Duluth.
Yes.
We kind of keep kicking around that idea here, but it's just never. I don't know if I'm the one to be talking to about that, because I don't think I'm going to head up an event anytime soon. There's just so many factors that go into it, and then you throw this kind of thing into it, where we're probably going to be limited to, regulations are going to limit us to a certain number of people for this foreseeable. I would say this year, next year, we're going to be pretty limited to smaller groups, and I don't know how that's going to work. But there's some significant concern among some big event organizers on how that's going to work even into next year. So I don't know, but it kind of stresses me out. So if I have a little Zevia.
Did you not notice Andrea just straight funnel Botobox into her mouth?
I saw that.
So,
Big Soup. Chris,
can I throw my
up
2
that
cents in
photo?
on that, man?
Yeah.
I'd just
Hey,
like the
can I-
feature.
Can I tell you something? Just my new office view. I've seen 3 people ride by now on bikes, because our road is very popular with bike people. So it's cool to see people out riding. But anyway, go ahead.
So another problem with events right now is, you talk about like the sizes of events, and I'm thinking about and remember, this is like part of my job now, so I'm trying to make sure I don't say anything that is going to hinder my employment in any way. I think that
There's like 6 people listening. It's fine.
No, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, through the end of 2020, if you're trying to schedule a new event, or honestly at this point reschedule your non-local, local like your city, like a regional event reschedule at this point, probably not going to happen. Like, I'm looking at a calendar, and I'm looking at what is supposed to happen still.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's already been moved from up here down into the fall. And I'm just like, all right, Matt, you need to like find a used van on eBay and then find another employee, because you're going to be at like 3 events a lot of weekends, and 1 person plus a home crew with a truck. That's just 2 events. So it's not actually 3 events a lot of weekends, but like, I've gotten emails from promoters of events where they're like, hey, we're thinking about keeping our weekend or maybe going ahead and rescheduling to these. And I have to like email back real quick. And I'm like, hey, by the way, someone else has already rescheduled into all the other weekends you offered. So probably not a good idea, because this one event or this one weekend has 2 events in it. And this weekend has an event in it. And the weekend after that has an event in it. And then that's 3 weekends in a row of events. So
Mhm.
I just don't know.
Yeah, there's just a
How much?
lot of stuff. So your job at rebelbikes.com is we should promote that right off the bat. Just say, hey, this live streaming that actually works version is brought to you by Rebel Bikes. The other one is brought to you by competitors that didn't work.
Well, then can we talk about like maybe?
So we're not going to keep doing this all day. So let's talk about something, but we're gonna shut this down in like 10 minutes.
I know, but I was just gonna see if I could actually plug something really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Andrea's rubbing her face.
It's getting,
You should
your
go
face getting
to
warm already from all that. Go have some more.
you should go to ycycles.com and check it out because a bunch of the bikes went on sale this week. We have a bunch of big irons left over, so we did a pretty good price cut on big irons just because we're going out of the winter season, and then we're gonna. Why are you so stressed?
Just
ycycles.com. There's a sale.
And I'm just gonna be contrary here and say that the Otzo Wojtek is the best fat bike that's ever been made. So
Some people don't want carbon.
Yeah,
sucks
very.
to suck.
So it's otzocycles.com, by the way, too, if anybody's interested and doesn't know that already.
Otzocycles.dicks.
And I just got an email from Brendan. He said, fuck you, Matt, I think is what it said. I'm joking, but I wouldn't doubt it. No, it would be Brandon that would send a message. But yeah, there's a ton of, like you guys always talk about, though. There's so many good options with all these different things. It's just like, pick what do you want? You want an awesome titanium bike? Do you want an awesome carbon bike? I will say it's a really good option. Otzo. Like, I don't feel like the whole having your legs out like that. It's just, yeah.
You don't like busting your legs wide open?
For me, it works because my legs are already naturally like I'm riding a horse. But for most people, it doesn't.
Same here.
Yeah. Don't want to stir up SRAM versus Shimano brakes, but curious about disc. Any preferences? Try both. Go one in the front and one in the back. See what happens.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I would say this. I don't care what brakes you're running. I mean, I do care, but I'm not going to change your buying. I can't make a non-SRAM customer buy SRAM brakes. I think they work really well. But run the lever, the caliper. I'm trying to put my hand. Oh, there it is. The line, the pads, and the rotor. Run all 5 pieces. Don't put some white Jaguar hose kit shit on your bike and then be surprised that it leaks. Or don't put some Action Tech or some crap brake pads. Action Tech's an old magazine, I think. Stoptech.cc.au.
Hold on, I got something about that.
I'm just saying, if you run like with like with like, someone engineered it that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's best case scenario. I will say I have used off-brand brake pads. I think Trucker Co. sent us some that I've used. I don't remember what other ones that I've used, but you just have to have realistic expectations that the person who engineered those pads didn't engineer the brake. So, I mean, you might get noise, or you might get like a vibration or a pulsing or something. Like, if you start messing around with the wear parts with the pads and rotors doing non-branded parts, then don't be mad if you get some performance weirdness. Like, you're still gonna stop. Those things aren't gonna make your brakes fail. They just may not work how you want them to. If you want everything to be quiet and modulate and all that good stuff, then yeah, use that company's pads. Like, whoever made your brakes, use their pads and rotors.
I heard that you can make brake pads out of Play-Doh.
Sounds interesting. Okay, I think that's it. Anybody have any other questions, you can send them to either ben@mountainbikeradio.com or jra@mountainbikeradio.com. It looks like John, it looks like we just got an email from you. He remember last time we did this live, he was asking about travel for a bigger guy, and he sent an email with some details. And that's the same John that we had talked to previously. He rides up in this area some too. He's from Chicago. So thank you, John. Chicago.
Chicago.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say? Any mentions? Anything other than what you already said? Anything to Dickie?
Dickie likes Trucker Co.
Yeah.
But he's a small man.
BB7 for life, Ron. And
they're on
thank
my
you, Ron.
cross
I just saw Ron just sent some money across too. So thanks again, Ron. He sent some money last time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't ridden BB7s for a while, but I used to. What bike did I have those on? Like, I would purposely ride those just because it was fun sometimes instead of just out on the trail.
What I've seen with BB7s from one of our coworkers was he said, "Hey, I used to ride BB7s and they were great." But that was relative to the brakes that were out, the hydro brakes that were out when BB7s were at their height of popularity, because they worked as well as those hydro brakes. But what happened was he started riding other brakes. He had guides and probably some other ones between the BB7s and there. And he put BB7s on a bike and rode them once and was like, yeah, fuck this. Like, disc brakes have gotten better since BB7. They used to be the thing you like when you had shitty hydro disc brakes, you ran BB7s and they were just as strong as the shitty hydro brakes and more reliable.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case anymore.
Yeah. So when I bought my my Gary Fisher Ferris in 2007 with the 80 millimeter travel Reba and my BB7s, it was the bomb. Yeah, so much for that. From the other night, hippos kill. Justin, thanks, Justin. So from the other night, hippos kill on it. So Nathan and I did a live thing the other night. Nathan from the Path. From the other night, hippos kill an average 3,000 people a year, and lions kill 250. Just in case you were wondering.
Hippos are like the African version of the moose.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing. There was
like they like water. And they're big. They don't look like they would really do anything to you, but they will fuck up your day.
Oh, yeah. You were on that discussion. You were chiming in on that whole thing. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So hippos kill on average more people than coronavirus. I think we've topped 3,000 here now. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a lot of people. 3,000 people by hippos?
Yeah.
Huh. Are they taking pictures of it? Do we have to qualify this? Are they trying to take pictures next to them, or are they just running up? Hippos just running up on them? Okay.
I would say that big hippo is responsible for those deaths.
Okay, bye. All right, guys. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for hanging in there too with all the issues initially. But Ron, Justin, well, should we say thanks to Mr. Dylan, Cactus Jack, Chris Sheehan, Eric? I don't know. He's been on here. Eric Dalmas was on. I don't know if he's still on. Jeff, Cyrus, thank you.
Richard
Clayton,
Dillon.
Thanks for checking in. George Dirt, thank you very much. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So thank you guys. We'll do this again. Like we did last time, I just test it and make sure it's good. If it goes live on YouTube, that's how it's up to the internet at that point. So, alrighty. Thank you, Matt. Shut this down. See ya.
Bye.
Good night.